What's going on, guys? Apathetic here with all your tips, recommendations, and everything in between. And today we are reviewing the new Warlock Exotic Felwinter's Helm. Let's get into it. Diving into Felwinter's Helm exotic perk, it's got Warlord's End. Arc, Solar, and Void melee kills create a burst of energy that weakens nearby enemies. Finishers and kills against more powerful enemies increase the radius of the burst and the length of the weakening effect. So what does this exotic perk look like? What you'll notice is when you get a kill with your melee ability on any subclass, your character will release a purple burst that when contacting enemy gives this purple glow, almost looks like a burn. Once you do that, your enemies will be weakened, meaning they take additional damage. The other important thing to note is that the higher the tier of enemy, the larger this effect is. It's basically an AoE or area of effect type of exotic. This burst your character releases goes in every direction, it seems, and the range for higher tier enemies is far. If you look when I kill this yellow bar enemy, I hit every single enemy in my radius with this weakening effect. Now I bet you're wondering, Appa, how much damage does it actually do? As you'll see when using my Monte Carlo without the weakening effect, I do 732 damage to the head. But once I have the enemy weakened, that damage goes up from 732 to 951, which is effectively a 30% buff to my damage. This is a huge debuff, guys, and has a ton of utility, especially if you can kill a low tier enemy next to a champion or yellow bar enemy, because it will allow us to take our DPS up another notch on top of all the damage boosting effects we already have. I could see this being a very useful part of teams comp from grinding higher level PvE content. Now I know what you're thinking, this sounds like some lame PvE exotic. That's what I thought, until I played with it a little bit more, and as you'll see from my testing, this thing is no joke in PvP. As you can see in this video, I'm doing 26 damage to the head before I've procced Warlord's End. Once procced though, that precision damage jumps from 26 to 44, which is a 69% increase in damage in PvP. I don't think I need to say what a big deal that is. With a 69% buff to damage, you absolutely melt people, which is pretty exciting. But what about the range? Like a lot of things in Destiny, this exotic is only as good as its range. I'll let the video speak for itself here. Yes, that's right. You're looking at about 15 meters of range on this exotic in PvP. I can see people pulling off some sick plays in the Crucible with this exotic, especially if you're a more close quarters player. We should also keep in mind that Warlocks fortunately have a lot of very strong ranged melee abilities, so our chances of proccing this perk are even better. This could be great in so many scenarios in PvP. Like I said, if you're pushing into a team in sixes, or if you die and you happen to proc it at the very end, you're leaving the enemy very weak for the rest of your team to clean up. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by this exotic helmet. On the surface, I thought this exotic was just going to be another meh PvE exotic, and has turned out to be so much more than that. In my mind, this exotic has so much potential in PvE with raids, the Grandmaster Nightfall, current Nightfalls, so much debuffing power, and the fact that that can most likely stack with damage boosting effects like well or others to really make sure we're maximizing our damage. And then moving on to PvP, the fact that the range is about 15 meters, that's so generous, guys. It makes this a lot more viable in the Crucible. It's still going to require a very specific type of playstyle. You're not going to always get the proc it, but when you do, it's going to feel so good because you're absolutely going to just melt people, and you're going to also be supporting your teammates. And that's what this exotic really is to me, a very support oriented exotic. And when you pair it with something like a Monte Carlo, where you're going to be getting your melee ability back more frequently, then you're going to make sure you're proccing this ability on this exotic as much as possible. With that, guys, I'll leave you with some gameplay, and if you enjoyed, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and also go follow me on mixer.com/apathetic. I also have a link below so we can hang out and talk Destiny, and I will catch you guys in the next one.